I am Hunter. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me for another broadcast. Tonight's matchup is one that I'm very excited for. At the top right position, we have SeleCT. SeleCT is the Red Terran player. He is a Korean-born player, like that's his nationality, but I don't think he lives in Korea anymore. He competes in lots of tournaments around the world, North American tournaments or European tournaments, and he performs very well. He's a very strong tournament player for sure, and I'm looking forward to seeing how SeleCT is actually going to do against his opponent. Spawning down to the bottom left position, we have oGs.TOP. Now, TOP is a very highly regarded Terran on the Korean pro gaming scene. He was in Code A for a while, and recently has qualified for Code S. Now, for those of you who don't know, in the Korean pro gaming scene for Starcraft, like the GSL, they rank the players according to skill, of course, and Code S is the division of the best Starcraft players, and Code A is just below there. So lots of scary players in Code A as well, and that division should get even scarier. But it's pretty cool that oGs.TOP, he won the Code A tournament, he qualified for Code S. He is a really beastly Terran player, and I'm expecting that we're gonna be hearing a lot more, publicly from this guy, and some really, I'm expecting very scary performances from him in tournaments and stuff in the near future. So should be a good TvT. I don't think I cast nearly enough mirror matchups, but I mean, it's an important part of StarCraft 2, and I personally enjoy TvT. It's my favorite of the mirror matchups, just because lots of them sort of result in epic territorial control with, siege tanks, and it's like a big game of Risk, really. Out of all the matchups, TvT is sort of the most territorial, and I just enjoy it. I think it can be very diverse, although keeping an eye on the production tab, we can see both players opening up with really the same build so far. Both players scouting at roughly the same time, but as soon as the initial Marine popped out for SeleCT and for oGs.TOP as well, the SCV, the scouting SCV, was forced out of the base. And even at this stage, factory timing is identical so far, so we're just going to have to wait and see when these players are going to choose to divert from their build, sort of. And actually, I think at 3 minutes and 40 seconds or so, we're seeing the first instant of that with the refinery timing. Is that SCV going to go down? No, it looks like he's going to escape, no problem. But like I said a second ago, we have a second refinery on the way for SeleCT. oGs.TOP, on the other hand, is not getting a second refinery just yet. He is, however, getting a reactor on his barracks. I don't think he's going to use it to pump out Marines, though. The reactor is going to be done just a few seconds after the factory completes, and yeah, you see the factory lift off. It's going to land onto the reactor, and oGs.TOP is going to pump out a whole bunch of Hellions, I'm sure. Map control going to SeleCT at this stage. That SCV getting scared away by the other SCV. No surprise there. He only has 12 hit points left. I'm interested to see where SeleCT is going to take this. SeleCT is definitely the underdog today, and I'm sure that this is an important match for him, going up against someone like oGs.TOP, a very scary opponent. We do have a starport on the way from SeleCT along with Stimpack research, and this SCV is going to scout and see that there's no natural expansion just yet for SeleCT, but oGs.TOP, on the other hand, has put down a command center. The barracks is now going to attach an additional reactor, and we have a starport on the way as well. We could see this sort of switcheroo once again, where the starport switches onto the reactor for medevacs or for Vikings. Bunker going down at the top of the ramp. Lots of Marines, though. Are these Hellions going to be able to do much damage here? One Hellion lost for each player there, and oGs.TOP just sort of poking with his remaining Hellion, but with this many Marines, it doesn't look like, even, pumping this many Hellions out of the reactor factory, it doesn't look like it's going to be enough to break this bunker. We have Banshees on the way. Stimpack research nearly complete. A second barracks going to lift off and land onto the reactor. Going to pump out lots of Marines. Get, of course, that Stimpack upgrade. Pretty important, but, well, I shouldn't say pretty important. I should say absolutely vital. When you got a Marine ball, the DPS, damage per second, of the Marines once you get stim packs is just so much higher. A couple Marines popping out and a Raven on the way as well. Very interesting. So one Banshee out, and gonna follow up that Banshee with a Raven's combat shields on the way as well. These Hellions just retreating home. They definitely don't want to hang out with that red Banshee. Hellions not the best counter to Banshees. 2 Vikings on the way being pumped out. I want to take a look at the units tab. 2 Vikings already on the map, so that's going to make the life of this Banshee very difficult. Vikings are a very strong counter to Banshees, and this Banshee doesn't even have any kills. The poor Banshee pilot executed. Oh, see that propeller? You can still see the propeller down there. Very nice. I like the physics of Starcraft 2. Such a great game. Now, Hellions just hanging out near the destructible rocks. A couple Vikings overhead, but the Marauder at the Xel'Naga is definitely going to see this coming. He's going to want to run home immediately. Is he going to get taken out? Tried to stim up and get away, but just not able to. Command center now on the way, keeping an eye on the production tabs. The combat shield upgrade nearly complete. Very important for Marines. You can use 1 extra stim, which is very nice. Getting a reactor on this factory. He could easily switch that onto the barracks. So a couple medevacs on the way as well, and the Raven now just building energy. But I mean, what are we going to see with the Raven? I mean, of course it's got the auto turret along with point defense drone, but point defense drone, I mean, it can be used against the Vikings, but if Vikings are in the air, then they're not really a threat to anything except the Raven anyway. Well, I guess I shouldn't have said that. You know, there's the medevacs too, so we'll probably see point defense drone from the Raven. Just trying to decide what the best use was for the Raven in this situation. Combat shields now complete. Concussive shells on the way. A couple Marauders on the production tab along with 2 Marines from the reactor barracks. And nothing coming out of this factory just yet. But we do have a pretty scary presence from oGs.TOP. He has just a ton of Hellions out. He's controlling the Xel'Naga. So many Hellions. He's got a Banshee of his own now. Should probably keep an eye on his base as well. 1 tech lab on this barracks. A couple of reactors as well, like 2 reactor barracks, and then a tech lab on the factory. Now lifting off his command center. Didn't bother morphing it into an orbital just yet. 2 refineries going to go down at the natural. But you know what? On the income tab, we can see just how advantageous it's looking for oGs.TOP. oGs.TOP has just had this natural expansion up for so much longer. He's been mining off of it for a very long time. Both players staying on top of the resource as well. You know what? SeleCT is. oGs.TOP sort of falling a little bit. He's got 750 gas banked along with 900 minerals. oGs.TOP, you know, getting some upgrades, getting combat shield, siege mode, pumping out some siege tanks as well. Maintaining map control as now SeleCT is in something of a defensive posture, as SeleCT definitely wants to sort of secure this base, of course, so he's going to be defending for at least the next little bit. But you know what? I guess I will eat my words as I see him moving out. He, you know, he sees a timing window. He's going to take it, and you know, maybe just pushing up for map control. We do have a lot of Hellions over here, and maybe, just maybe, if these Hellions get in, that could be very scary for SeleCT. Cloak Banshees as well. He could use some Marines back here. These Hellions gonna do a very strong counterattack. There's a bunker and a ton of SCVs, but you know what? Maybe he should have taken my advice and defended a little bit more. He's going to lose so many SCVs. At the same time, SeleCT now moving in. And, you know, using Stim Pack, getting lots of... I mean, the medevac's doing a lot of repairing as well, but there's just been so much damage done by these damn Hellions. The Hellions take out a siege tank. You don't see that every day. And these Hellions are absolutely going to just devastate the economy of SeleCT. SeleCT is not going to have any SCVs left. oGs.TOP knows that he really just needs to hold off this attack, and he is going to win the game, as the Marines and Marauders were elevated up to the high ground. And oGs.TOP, it looks like he should have enough infantry to deal with this. He's got a siege tank as well on the low ground, 3 siege tanks. Gonna defend that natural, no problem, and he can easily evacuate a lot of these SCVs if he wants to. Those Hellions finally getting dealt with, but I think that is gonna be just about it for SeleCT. We're not really sure what else he can do. He calls GG and bounces out of this game. So like I mentioned before, it probably would have been wiser for SeleCT to defend. I mean, he had only had this base up for, you know, like a minute maybe, and he's like, okay, I'll just all in attack, push out. But at the same time, he knew he was behind. He knew that oGs.TOP had his base up for substantially longer, and that is definitely something to consider when deciding to push out like that. You know, if you're behind, you got to do something to get back in the game. And so, I mean, that was SeleCT's decision. Didn't work out for him. Some devastating Hellion harassment and action-packed TvT.